Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to the channel and a different video, not a reaction. So, I'm going to start this video off by saying that I've done my research on this. I have friends that attended the festival across numerous days from Wednesday to Sunday, or Wednesday until this morning, to be truthful. They left early on this morning, got back only recently, like an hour ago, been catching up with some of them. The others I've researched, I've gone on to Twitter, onto the official download Facebook groups, onto numerous download Facebook groups, and kind of looked through to see if people are saying the same things, to see if there's any of the same names popping up, cross-referencing to see if these people were friends and things like that, to try and make this video as fair as possible, but also to highlight the issues. So, of course, we are talking about Download Festival that has just happened this weekend. Now, I never attended, never had any intentions of attending after the shit show that was last year, when I was basically accused of being a liar. I'm basically accused of having not the right credentials, and for basically making things up and not being allowed passes and being turned away at the press tent by an absolute total bitch. So, yeah. My thoughts on the festival, kind of from a creator's point of view, is that it can just simply get a fuck. But anyway, I had a look at the lineup. Thought the lineup was very, very weak this year, to be fair. Headliners, questionable headliners. Queens of the Stone Age being one of them. I know a lot of people have enjoyed them over this weekend. They've got some brilliant songs, but, they've hardly been around, and just throw them on a Friday headliner. Saturday, Fall Out Boy, really? At a metal festival? Or what is meant to be a rock and metal festival? Again, a lot of people have enjoyed them. A lot of people said this set was fantastic. If you enjoyed the bands, I am not slating them for you, saying you shouldn't listen to them. I'm not being a gatekeeper or anything like that. I just feel, in my personal opinion, and this video is going to be filled with my opinions, it is my channel after all, that Fall Out Boy should not headline Download, especially not the main stage anyway. Definitely not the main stage. If you want to stick to your roots and you want to stick to what you're known for as being a rock and a metal festival, then in my opinion, Machine Head should have been the ones to headline. Okay, they may not have released as much music recently or anything like that, but they would have probably drawn a bigger crowd for a rock and metal festival. That is dependent on the lineup, which again can kind of contradict what I was saying there. But if you want to stick to your roots as a traditional rock and metal festival, and we're not talking rock being radio rock like what Fall Out Boy are, we're talking about the classic rock and about metal music in general, heavy metal, which is what Download have always tried to put themselves out as being, a rock and metal / alternative music festival. Things like when I looked at the lineup and I seen Busted, I was like, seriously, for fuck's sake, like Busted of all bands to be at Download. Like, come on. If you want to get Charlie Simpson to perform, get Fightstar, someone like that. Busted though, I mean, again, I've seen pictures, I've seen videos, this has been confirmed by friends of mine. Apparently they were phenomenal, they drew a big crowd, fair play, it went down well. I just don't believe that that is the festival for a band like that to play. And again, I don't want to come across as being a gatekeeper here, but what I'm going to keep going back to is what the festival says it stands for, which is a rock and metal festival. But anyway, so I've got a lot of notes. There's a lot of notes here. I've got some pictures. I've got some things cross-referenced. I've taken direct quotes from people's tweets. This isn't me just coming in and making all this shit up. This is stuff that has been physically both said to me and things that are readily available online that you can now see. It seems to be that people have come back from Download. I've got recharged, got everything, got power back in them, or jumped on the computer and gone, boom, let's fucking have it. So, obviously, Download are advertising for next year already, early bird tickets for 2025, which, they're going to do. This first point I want to make, and these were seen and witnessed by friends of mine. I've also seen the pictures online. This is a very, very serious thing, and I do not agree with it one bit. In fact, it's fucking disgusting. So, the first issue, probably not so much if, and there's a massive if and a caveat to this post, or to this comment even, I seriously hope to fucking God that this person didn't realise, or that they bought it from a charity shop, or that were wearing it and were just completely clueless. I don't know how you cannot know this news, but someone was spotted. I've seen several photographs across different days of someone wearing a Lost Prophets backpatch. Now, the band themselves, that's guitarist, bassist, drummer, whatever you want to say, whatever member of the band, minus the fucking bastard vocalist, they've been destroyed. They have been destroyed. Their musical careers are basically all but over, apart from a couple of side projects. Seriously, research what you are wearing, what band you are putting on your body to go to a festival. That could have ended very badly. Someone could have just took massive offence to it and probably smacked them one. Like, you know, this is something that I know full well the alternative community does not stand for. It's disgusting what that bastard did. I personally hope that he gets out and someone stabs the fucker. Like, just takes him out. Like, as soon as if he even gets out on parole, someone needs to take that a horrible, vile bastard out. He is not fit to walk this earth ever again. People have got him in prison, and I was made up when it happened. Of course, we're talking about Ian Watkins, the lead singer of Lost Prophets, the ex-lead singer now, the absolute vile paedophile that he is. And for someone to wear a backpatch of that band, whether you're still a fan of that band purely for the musicianship and for the sound, because they were fucking fucking awesome. I physically can't listen to them anymore. They're still on Spotify. I can't listen to them anymore. It does make me feel sick. You know, I did actually grow up as a Lost Prophets fan. I wore the merch back in the day. But Ian Watkins is a absolute scumbag that deserves to fucking rot for what he did. And that's all we shall say on that matter. But yeah, the backpatch, I hope that the person that was wearing it, hope to God somewhere, that it was a second-hand buy. They weren't really aware of what it was. They just thought it might look cool. You know, they might not have known it was a band. They were around a long time ago, completely understandable. They might have just thought, oh, that's nice, that's alternative, that looks, you know, I could take that to wear for download, whatever. I sincerely hope that that's the case, because if not, and you see this video and you went to that festival knowingly wearing that backpatch, knowing what he did, then fuck you. You shouldn't be welcome at any festivals ever again. You aren't welcome in this alternative community, put it that way. Then, to top it off and to add more insult to injury, shall we say, I've seen various photos of these stickers that people think is okay. This is not a joke, people. You know, I have a sense of humour. I'm all for a bit of a laugh and a joke. You do not joke about a convicted paedophile and put stickers around a festival that says "We support Ian Watkins" at a festival that has children walking around it. You don't put stickers up saying "We support Ian Watkins" at a festival that doesn't allow children to walk around it. You simply do not talk about the man. I just don't want to even have to cover this, because by talking about him, you're giving him popularity, you're giving him limelight, you're using his name. But unfortunately this weekend this has happened. People thought it was funny to put stickers around Download Festival that said "We support Ian Watkins." It's disgusting. That is not funny. It really isn't. Like, some things that are on the line, that are borderline, nowhere near to do with what he did, by the way, but certain things that you could have a little bit of a laugh and a joke about are borderline okay. People might take a little bit of offence to it. People who have a dark sense of humour, okay. This, no. You do not joke about a man who is openly being convicted and is openly admitted to being a paedophile. You just don't do it. Full stop. You don't do it. It's not funny. This is not a joke. It really isn't. How would you feel if it was one of your kids that he had actually, you know, I'm not even going to use the words. I'm not even going to justify making a point about it. But just how would you feel as a parent if that was one of your kids and you seen someone putting photos up, or putting stickers up, saying "We support Ian Watkins"? Because I know I'd chin the bastard right in front of everyone. I wouldn't stand for it. It's not funny. You don't joke about that kind of shit. Full stop. You really don't. So I wanted to get that out of the way first and foremost because I thought it was absolutely disgusting. If someone has gone to a festival wearing that back patch thinking it's funny, you should never be allowed to go to a festival ever again. And if you were any of the people putting the stickers up saying we support Ian Watkins, you also need to go fuck yourselves because that is not funny at all. But anyway, we will move on. So, last year, phenomenal weather. Absolutely phenomenal. Probably a bit too hot. Probably a bit too hot. I was there. It was insane. It was like 34, I think, on one of the days. And the conditions were super dry, but like to the point where you could almost breathe the dust and stuff in. So it was, I mean, I come back coughing all kinds of shite up, and I wasn't there that long. But it seems to be this year the complete opposite happened. We live in Britain, people. This is going to happen. We live in Great Britain. So the heavens opened. There was some tremendous downpours. I've seen one guy, bless him, with about 2 umbrellas just at a camping chair in the middle of this field, trying to stay dry, trying to enjoy himself. And yeah, apparently the conditions this year were far from acceptable. I know we can't control the weather. We simply can't. And I'm not saying that the weather is something to blame. It is how the festival handled the weather. And again, there was numerous people saying the same thing, and there was numerous people that had access issues yet again, the same as last year, but the flip side, the weather has affected it. Now, yes, again, to reiterate it, we cannot control the weather, we cannot control the rain, but we can, and the organisers and the team behind the festival can attempt to make access for people. There is ways and means and things that can be done and stuff that can be put down, things that can be actioned that are within our control, that can help these people that are in wheelchairs and motorised scooters and that kind of thing, basically to make their experience as good as it possibly can be. You know, I love the fact that festivals try and, you know, give access to disabled guests that want to attend. I'm one of them people that believe that no one should be restricted from enjoying the music they love regardless of disability. I think it's fucking phenomenal. There was a photo I seen a while ago of a guy in a wheelchair crowd surfing. Absolutely incredible. Like, it's all about the inclusivity. We all come together to enjoy the same thing. However, this again has reared its ugly head. So apparently there was paths removed, again, to stop people from gaining access to certain areas. I have seen on Twitter that one of the paths that is usually by where the buses drop people off, which I know exactly where that is, because it was the same as last year, was taken up because apparently it was starting to get too waterlogged. Yet these are full-on floating platforms. Like, I know how they work. They're connected. They will obviously get wet, but would you rather someone try and wheel themselves through solid mud? I know that the access points and the access paths and things like that do not go across the entire site. It would be impossible. It really would. It would cost so much more money to do. And obviously all festivals have a budget. I completely understand that. But by making the festival as accessible as possible is obviously a start. So yeah, I've seen from a couple of people on Twitter, or now X as it's saying that the access on Saturday, it was basically got worse. It was 10 times worse on the Saturday, to be expected. The busy days start was borderline non-existent. It was very, very hard for people to park. It was very, very hard for people to access even the entrance of the festival. And at one point, a woman said that she could not actually travel because the motorised scooter was getting stuck in the mud and no staff from the event helped. Security guards stood by, and it was actually guests and fellow festival goers that lifted her scooter out of the mud and carried it a couple of yards down the road and placed it in another place where she could grip and carry on. So if that was any of you guys that helped out that woman, fucking incredible. Nicely done. Legends. But yeah, this seems to be the case every single year. There seems to be problems with access, whether it's dry or wet. This is not a new thing. It just seems to be that another year has gone by Another load of problems with access has come up. And again, I did ask some of my friends, did you see any access issues? Did you see any people struggling with wheelchairs or motorised scooters? And they said they saw at least 3 people struggling on motorised scooters. Some of them were just spinning on the spot. So these are eyewitnesses from friends that went to the festival that saw this firsthand and let me know, because I wanted to make this video. We then move on to the bad case that a minimum, now this is a minimum, I have got other notes to say that it's probably in the region of 700 to 900 people now have come down with suspected cases of food poisoning. Now, before we go any further, this is what I've got a picture. You probably already saw it. If you haven't and you're having your tea, look away now. That was a chicken burger served to a customer at Download Festival from Munchbox, who you can see in the background. Now, if you don't know what that is, or you can't make out what it is, my friend thought it was a jam donut. That is a chicken burger. Or what they are calling, and what they class as acceptable food standards at a festival, to make what they think is a chicken burger. That is raw chicken. There's no chance that is even being cooked. If it's being cooked on the grill, because you can see it's got the breadcrumbs and stuff around it, it's being thrown on there for 5 seconds aside. There is no chance in hell that that is safe to eat. It is red, raw. Gordon Ramsay would call you an idiot sandwich for trying to eat that. Now, the thing is, with food poisoning, and with the chicken burger that comes in the crispy batter kind of thing on the side of it, I'll take that down so people eating can look again. The minute you bite into that and taste the raw chicken, too late, because you've already tasted it. An element of that is going to go into your body. Of course, it gets worse if you swallow it and stuff like that, and I imagine that no one was that hungry to eat raw chicken, because it doesn't taste great. But that was one of the particular cases from Munchbox. This has been tweeted about, put in various Facebook groups. Various people have also confirmed that they also purchased food from Munchbox, and every single one of them were either projectile shitting through the eye of a needle in the Portaloos, or had to simply pack up and go home because they were that sick. They were bedridden in the tent, or sleep bag ridden, or air bed ridden, or however you choose to sleep at Download. But yeah, this is just one example. There are other that I have the names of. And we will come back to what actually happened and the response from the festival. So bearing in mind, these guys were there from Wednesday. I have got friends that went on Wednesday. I've got friends that only went yesterday, and I've spoke to both of them. Again, I've researched it all. I've been on Twitter, I've been on Facebook, I've been reading comments on Instagram as well. All people as well commenting on the official posts from Download, saying that this simply isn't good enough and the resolution is nowhere near acceptable. So we have Munchbox with the god-awful raw chicken burger. We also have, and this one has been spoken about rather a lot as well, a stand that goes by the name of Yorkie Pud that was actually closed down by Environmental Health on Sunday, along with Munchbox. So a lot of people were saying, and I can actually get quotes, I've got direct quotes from this. So I will use people's first names and probably just the initial of the last name maybe. So on the Download group, Hattie O said, "I'm one of those affected by food poisoning, and it's totally knocked me for over 36 hours now. My guts are usually very robust. I still can't eat anything, and even water is difficult, which when trying to move stuff in this weather has been a nightmare. Honestly, not something to be taken lightly at all, and I hope it's investigated properly because it's pretty much ruined my Download this year, sadly." Kimberly says, "I'm going on 48 hours now, missed 2 days and left this morning. I'm gutted." Amy says, 48 hours since I ate at the Yorkie Pud. Now I'm home in bed and in pain after missing 2 days of music. Like I say, there's been apparently 500 was the initial kind of number. I'm seeing more and more and more, and other people saying that it's probably in the region of 800 to 900. I mean, you think about how many people go to Download Festival, 500 people, it's 100% more than that with the amount of people through them gates. Obviously, it might have to be people going to these particular stands. There's so many food stands. But yes, Yorkie Pud and also Munchbox, the two very, very easy to find names on these groups and on these tweets and things like that, with obviously photographic evidence as well of raw chicken. Now, again, I tried to dig deeper. I tried to find the person who posted the original post. Tried to get in touch with a couple of people. I'm still yet to receive replies from people that I've reached out to. I'm guessing they've gone into their requests and they might not see them until after this video goes out. But if you do, and you do have a message for me, then reply on this video down below. I did say that the channel and the channel name and where it will be posted. So if you would be so kind, or if anyone in general had an experience like this, please comment down below and let me know. So yes, the resolution to this issue. Numerous people have emailed Download Festival. And there was a screenshot before on Twitter or X, and I should have screenshotted it at the time. But it is basically a very generic reply from Download, basically saying, thank you very much for getting in touch. We have informed Environmental Health and they are now dealing with the situation. The fact that this was allowed to happen, the fact that these traders were there from Wednesday onwards serving raw food to people and an extortionate price. I've heard, now this is very much all over the place with the different prices. I did witness this myself last year. Prices increase and decrease certain times of the day that I did notice. The price of a can of Pepsi changed 5 times alone when I was there, and I was only there for a couple of hours. I noticed it started at £2.50, went to £3.50, went to £3, went to £4.50, went to £5. It just seemed that if it was busy and if it was really, really hot, they would shoot the prices up because they knew that people would have to pay for it. It's disgusting. It really is. I get that you've got a captive audience. I get that you've had to pay for your ground spot, and these prices and stuff aren't cheap. But to seriously rip someone off like that, a person in need as well of some hydration, is disgusting. But these companies, this Munchbox and this Yorkie Pud, you could have actually killed someone. Like, this is how bad that this food hygiene actually is. Eating meat that raw could have actually killed someone. If someone was dehydrated already and you give them that kind of food and they started shitting even more, they could have died from dehydration. This is not a joke. Like, this is serious, serious shit. So yeah, apparently on Sunday, I've heard this from a friend of mine, Munchbox was gone and the Yorkie Pud was closed. So Environmental Health had obviously gone over, checked it all out, said, yeah, this is a joke. Munchbox had left. They were completely gone. There was a gap in between the two stands where Munchbox was located, and one of the Yorkie Pud stands, that must have been one of the ones involved, was closed. It was completely closed down, probably waiting to be picked up at the end of the festival or something. But yes, that is the food poisoning section. We stick with food though, because another thing that I've seen several times people talking about was deliberate and downright disgusting overcharging. So again, we have names, and the names are coming up a lot from different people, from people I've spoken to that are all over the country, that aren't friends with the other people who are posting about this kind of stuff. So there was another food stand that went by the name of Fresh Hand Battered Fish and Chips. Very, very generic name, not a distinct company to kind of go on, but was in the main village. Fresh Hand Battered Fish and Chips. They were advertising a large chips for £4.50, and so far I have seen 19 different people say that they were charged £14.50 for a £4.50 marked chips. Now, a couple of these people went back to the stand and were simply told, all of them the same thing: that's not us, you'll have to contact your bank when you get back home and see what the problem is. We have charged you the correct amount. Now, again, speaking to a couple of these people and hearing it firsthand from friends, a lot of these vendors were not willing to let people see their screens on the card machines. They were kind of just handing the contactless strip over to you, but were holding it obviously at a height if they were in one of the raised vans, or were simply holding it so that the screen was facing them and you were just simply tapping on the top. Now, again, I've been to Download. Signal at the best of times doesn't exist. Wi-Fi, it's fucking pointless. There's not many people trying to use it, so it's overloaded. There's just no bandwidth. A lot of things that happen now with online banking is because the signal is that poor, you will pay. It will obviously go through, providing you have the funds. You'll walk off, and potentially 10, 15, 20 minutes later, your banking app will then ping and tell you you've spent £14.50 at this place, when in fact you should have spent £4.50. I don't know if these vendors were kind of onto that and were pulling a fast one going. By the time they realised, well, they be long gone and there's millions of people, blah, blah, blah. But 19 different people have used fresh hand-battered fish and chips and their £4.50 large chips deal as the same kind of thing for the £14.50. 19 people can't be wrong. They really can't. If you're one of them people, by the way, that I have spoken to that did reply to me and you want to verify this for other people, please feel free to comment down below on the video to let them know. Sticking with kind of overcharging and ripping off and stuff like that, again, something that I've seen several times, something that has actually happened to a friend of mine as well. So this is confirmed first-hand knowledge. A merchandise vendor, so people selling hoodies, t-shirts, hats, lanyards, you name it, whatever it may be. Kind of a side point as well, a lot of an increase in price again this year. Astronomical prices for merch, to be honest with people. £50 to £60 a t-shirt I'm hearing. Now that's fucking pathetic. That really is. £80 to £90 for hoodies. It was almost as if dry clothes were like they're worth their weight in gold, which I could imagine is the case, but still, don't take the piss. It's just wrong. You're there representing bands. You're selling their merch. Like, don't take the fucking piss. I guess the festivals have got slightly inflated and things like that, but £80, £90, £100 for a hoodie, get the fuck. That's daylight robbery. You know what you're doing. Stop ripping people off. It's out of order. If I'd have seen that kind of shit, I wouldn't have bought anything. I'd have come home and simply went onto EMP or Impericon, the sites that I use all the time, and bought my merch there, because that's basically the stuff they're selling. The amount of stuff I saw last year that was already on EMP for 20 quid. Just don't do it. Save your money and spend it on food that is hopefully cooked, or water, or go to Co-op on site and make sure that you're safe. But yeah, this particular merchandise vendor, it shows up on your receipt on your online banking as Festival Merchi, so M-E-R-C-H-I, I'm guessing it's obviously merchandise, it's like kind of abbreviated, Curve. Now, the transaction value that I have from the friend that I had was for £50 exactly. Now, he was quite on it and quite vigilant with his card, something that I personally do as well, especially when we go to festivals. It can be a bit of a pain in the arse trying to unlock it and stuff with the signal, but it also stops this kind of shit from happening. He bought an item of clothing, of merch. I believe it was a Ghost t-shirt. He paid... There was a fly in the room. He paid. It went through first time, obviously. He walked off, and his banking app then told him another 2 times that this merchandise company had tried to take £50 more once and then twice, and obviously it declined because his card was frozen in the Monzo app, the exact same thing that I use. Especially for festivals, it's brilliant. You can lock your card instantly. A lot of other banks do that as well now. This is not an isolated event. I have got £75.33 taken, authorised 3 times. This person didn't freeze the card. £65 authorised twice, declined 3rd time, left this person without money to be able to afford food that night. £150 authorised first time, declined another 3 times from this same merchandise seller. Now, there is a potential resolution behind this, and I'm not saying or pointing the finger deliberately because we don't know. And hopefully the people that have had this money taken multiple times will have it refunded in the next couple of days. If not, please let me know. I will happily make this known to people. It could be down to the network. It could be down to the signal. It could be down purely to the reception at the place. It might read as a decline when it's actually gone through. It might read as an approve when it's being declined. So businesses could potentially have lost money here too. But nobody else is talking about any other merch sellers taking multiple payments. And apparently, from what I've heard, a lot of them were using the same terminals. I've asked people, what did the terminal look like? I've had businesses in the past, I know about them. What did it look like? Was there a name on it? What colour was it? How did it look to you when you presented your card? Or did you have to put your PIN number in? What did it look like? It seems to be that a lot of people were using the same card readers, whether they were given to them by the festival or what, I don't know. But a lot of people have said that everything else that they purchased merchandise-wise was taken the once and the once only. This merchandise, whoever it was, it just says Festival Merch dash Curve. So Curve is a payment method. It could be that, and they're just down as festival merchandise, so it's one of them. But multiple attempts to take money, some successful, some not. And again, it could be, I'm just saying to cover all bases and to make sure that I'm not just saying this, it could be a simple network issue, and hopefully these customers are refunded. Again, if you've had this happen to yourself, if you're refunded, comment down below. Other people might find it really useful. Message me, email me, Instagram me, whatever, just so I can potentially release an update video. If you don't get your money back, then 100% still let me know, and 100% chase that down. Contact your bank, get you the money back. If you pay by credit card, you're covered anyway. Debit card, you can still get it back. It's a little bit trickier though. But yeah, nobody else seems to be talking about any other companies, and there was several. There was some of my favourite alternative brands there that I support. No, nothing about them. There was some of the bigger stands, nothing about them. It just seems to be this one name that is cropping up time and time and time again for large amounts of money. Obviously leaving people short as well, which is not good. So yeah, again, let me know if this happened to you. This one I'm kind of not going to really go into. I don't really do the politics and stuff on the channel and things like that, and obviously people are well within the rights to make their own decisions, to support their own causes and everything else. Bans cancelling due to Barclaycard and their links to current issues in the world. I'm pretty sure that it's not, their fault. There'll be some CEO or something making that decision. Again, bands pulling out, wanting to make a statement, wanting to go along and protest, you're more than welcome to. I've seen a lot of people saying they're going to cancel the Barclays accounts and things like that. Do some research. Do some research first before you jump. Anything where your money is involved and where someone that has the power to fuck you over, basically, just think before you start going in all guns blazing. I would definitely do your research before, because I guarantee it won't probably be what you're reading. But anyway, I don't do the politics side of things. I've looked into it. I understand where people are coming from, but just kind of to mention it as part of this, there was numerous smaller bands lower down on the bill pulling out due to Barclaycard and their sponsoring or providing the payment services or whatever they were doing at the festival. Again, a lot of people saying that there was larger bands on smaller stages. Now, this was definitely an issue last year with Electric Callboy. They were on the second stage. These guys are an Apex stage band all day long now. They sell arena-sized stages out for fun, so they'd easily pull a crowd at a festival. Electric Callboy were reasons my friends went on Sunday. Unfortunately, they did pull out due to illness that wasn't due to download. I've actually done a little bit of research now. It was due to food they ate outside at a party they'd thrown for, I believe it was Tank the Tech's birthday, to be fair. And unfortunately, Nico has come down with a bit of food poisoning, so they've had to pull out. They must be gutted, because they did pull a huge crowd last year on the second stage, and they were booked to play the second stage again. I don't know who is in charge of booking these bands in and putting these bands on these stages. It just seems pathetic, because it does create a safety issue. There was people last year getting crushed because you put a massive band on a small stage, and then there was bands on the main stage that could have very easily have played the second stage because they'd either been missing for years or no one really gave a shit about watching them. But there needs to be something looked into with the lineup and where you place your bands. I mean, I was very surprised last year that fucking Lorna Shore was second on the main stage. Like, what? I mean, they had a crowd, but if you'd give them a little bit later on, they'd have had an even bigger crowd after releasing a killer album that you just dropped in Pain Remains. It just doesn't, it seems strange. I mean, this year alone, the tiny stage, the fourth stage, had bands like Imminence in there, Error, Brand of Sacrifice, The Black Dahlia Murder. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, the amount of potential danger from crowd killing and crushing and people trying to get into such a small place to watch bands that are very, very heavy and, moshing and all that kind of stuff. It's your own responsibility. You do it at your own risk and stuff, but I think if you put them on a bigger stage, there's easier access for emergency services. God forbid people need it. You know, there's more room for people to move out the way. There's more people to escape from not wanting to be involved in that kind of thing. Like, I'm 34. I can't be bothered crowd fucking killing and all that anymore. I'm fucking too old for it now. But, you know, people are allowed to have fun. I love watching. It's cool. Like, you know, do your thing. You know, whatever. But I do kind of stand at the side now. I'm usually with Em, so I'm usually making sure she doesn't get smacked or something like that. She can handle herself, but still. Yeah, the lineup in general, the placements of the bands, the times, the sets just seemed a little bit strange again this year. There was questionable choices of bands being put on there. There was some last minute pullouts. I mean, yeah, Funeral for a Friend were added. I'd love to have seen them. Sick band, I believe Lucas from Holden Absence and Charlie did vocals for them. I've got a couple of videos off some friends, and they did a good job by the sound of it. So yeah, the next one again kind of cuts back to the weather. I know we can't really control the weather, so this is just kind of a little bit as a side point. But yeah, one of the main bands, Baby Metal, were told to evacuate the main stage due to the weather. Again, it's something that the festival can't really control, but you'd like to think that a festival as big as Download could have some kind of thing in place to keep the artists safe, to be able to allow them to perform and do their set if people want to watch it. But again, if the weather has caused an issue and they've taken that decision, fair play. You know, obviously the safety of everyone is at the top. But yeah, a lot of people disappointed that they didn't get to see their full set. Maybe they'll be back next year. Just kind of a side point. Then we move on to the final headliner, and a headliner that a lot of my friends went to see on the Sunday as well. It was kind of the band that sold it for them, to be fair. Avenged Sevenfold. I mean, you know I've got the Death Bat and stuff like that. You know I really, really cannot stand their latest album. It's absolute dog shit. Again, just my opinion. But I do feel sorry for the guys, because apparently there was a massive sound cut and people thought it was at the end of the set. The whole thing was in darkness. It came back on. They did manage to get a couple more songs out, but people said it kind of ruined the mood. And whether that was caused by water or, you know, just general weather or something, getting into things and shorting something out, no one seems to know the answer. But apparently they took it in good spirits. You know, they managed to get the power back on. They could carry on. I've seen the set. It wasn't anything to write home about. Far too many songs off the new album, which I understand they're going to want to play. I couldn't give a fuck. I wouldn't be there for the new stuff. I'd want to hear some of the older stuff, some of the more upbeat stuff, because that new album is absolute dog shit. But again, just my opinion. I would have still gone and supported though, because I do like their old stuff, and they every time they've played the main stage or headlined, they are absolutely phenomenal. They always kill it. So we get to the end of the festival now. People trying to leave, and this was an issue that came up last year and was exactly the same this year. People are saying the same things. In particular, the South car park. So the South car park, when people got back to it, and there's numerous people on Twitter saying that they left while the headliners are still playing, tried to get a head start, tried to get out to the car parks and things like that. They'd packed up earlier. The South car park took up to 3 hours to get any movement whatsoever. People were back at their cars before the headliners had finished, like I say, and no staff were present or available to let people out. I did get a quote from Twitter from Lou Flacker, who said, "I got stuck in the North car park for 9 hours and had to sleep in my van with my hazards on, waiting for staff. Someone from Download came over to me at the middle of the morning and said someone will be back over in the morning to let him out. Guests got stuck in the mud and had to rely on the charity and very, very kindness of their hearts. Farmers with tractors willing to pull people out." I did see a post in the Download group from someone with a Land Rover Defender who was charging £20 to get people out of the car. I would have out of the car park even. I would have all day give that man £20. I want to get home. I don't want to be stuck in the fucking mud. 20 quid, get me on the road, get me out of there. Just, yeah, you legend. So to the man with the Land Rover Defender, well done, sir. Made yourself a couple of quid in the process as well. But yeah, the car parks, again, last year were an issue. People couldn't get out. They weren't getting stuck in the mud. They just could not get out. Download staff not letting people move. Download staff charging them double again. for the car park passes, and it just seems that the problems that were there last year have still been there this year. They haven't been addressed. There's still massive problems with disabled access. Again, the weather made it worse, and to a point, I'm not saying that the weather completely gives download staff a pass. There's always something that can be done. The people will appreciate the effort of trying to make something happen rather than doing nothing at all. It looked like an absolute mud bath from what I could see. It wasn't quite download of a couple of years ago where you were up to your ankles in mud, then up to your knees by Saturday in mud, tents floating off down the fucking river of shite. It didn't look good, but it wasn't as bad from what I can tell. From the points raised this year, though, I think next year, at least, if this festival even goes ahead, they seriously need to look at the lineup. They really, really do. They seriously need to look at the food vendors they're allowing in, because it's just simply unacceptable. Like, it's not even like people were being sick and had the shits and stuff and were being slightly undercooked. This is fucking raw. It's raw meat. It could have actually killed someone. I will be very surprised if someone doesn't post something over the next couple of days saying that someone is very, very seriously ill in hospital, very close to, unfortunately, dying. I hope it doesn't happen, because there was a death last year, was a couple of deaths last year. No one goes to a music festival to never come home again. But it was disgusting. The things I've seen, I've heard, I've had confirmed, I've spoken to my friends about. It seems that this festival still has massive, massive issues. It seems that there's still a long way to go. We've seen the state of Slam Dunk. It was the same this year from what I've seen. Download it's losing its appeal, I think. Millions and millions of people are still going to go every year. It is still one of the biggest festivals. It does still have a massive draw. There's the social aspect of it and things like that. But people are going to die if this keeps happening. This is basic health and safety. It should not be happening. If I had a food truck and I was serving food to people, the minimum thing you can do is make sure that it's fucking cooked and that it tastes good, because that's how you make your money. Quick side point as well. I have got a couple of prices that people said that they were being charged. The soft scoop ice, super soft ice, old school looking ice cream van was charging people £9.50 for a £6 ice cream. I mean, £6 is a fucking rip-off at the best of times. But people were saying they were getting charged up to double in some rates, but a lot of the comments were saying that they were getting charged £9 for a £6 ice cream, and that was coming up on their bank statements as super soft ice. It was an old school looking ice cream van that was in several different places across the weekend within the village. There was also a mac and cheese stand, which I couldn't believe this one. And for this one so far, I've seen 10 people say the same thing. A small circular pot of mac and cheese and one can of Coke, Fanta, Pepsi, Tango, etc. £18. Seriously, for fuck's sake. A small mac and cheese. Nothing on it. No extras or nothing like that. A small mac and cheese with a can of soft drink, £18. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And like I've said, I know captive audience. I know these places do cost more. There's always a premium. People expect to spend when they go to these kinds of places, but this is just predatory. This is people preying on the fact that people have got money in a fucking cost of living crisis. Some of these people go to download with a very, very strict budget. It costs them a lot of money to go, costs them a lot of money to travel down there, costs a lot of money to camp and all that kind of stuff. You spend a good couple of £100 just to walk through the door, without being totally pants pulled down and shafted without lube. So, another side point to make. But that's kind of where I'm up to, people. So if you've had any of these experiences, if you're one of these people that ate at any of these places, if you are sick, I'm very sorry. I hope you get better very soon. But yes, if you witnessed any of this kind of stuff, let me know in the comments. If it was good, if you had any good experiences, please do drop them down below. But that's just kind of the gist of what I've been able to get hold of and confirm and cross-reference and kind of fact-check, if you like. But yeah, Download 2024 sounded a bit like a shit show for the majority of it. But if you went and had a good time, amazing. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. If you went and it was shit, unfortunately, It's getting a name for itself, this festival. But yeah, I will leave it there, people. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you all on the next video. Take care, and yeah, bye for now.